wear that many stripes together, bro?
Bruh, I gotta look like a fucking street sign. You know I gotta look like a street sign out here. Just in case, you know what I mean, people are aware of my surroundings, you know what I mean? By the way, salute to Chicago.
Yo, get out of here, man. Look, guys, I'm sorry. Good morning. Welcome back to Everyday Struggle. I'm Nadeska. I'm here with Akademiks and Wayno. What?
You hate on and off camera, yo. Jesus Christ.
I'm pretty consistent. Yeah, shitting on you, Ak. The energy never changes.
Hater, okay.
All right, look, this is not about you right now. Look, you and I always get murdered on the internet as part of being on the show. I feel like yesterday was Wayno's day, really getting it. So you said there might be no classic Carter albums. You said Kids See Ghosts, not a great album. How was it yesterday? You survived.
Yeah, I survived, but it was crazy. Like, it was crazy. A lot of the Wayno supporters, like, turned on me instantly. Like, they was like, yo, man, we loved you on the show, but now, like, I think you on drugs. I think you need to leave. I think, you know, this is the whole reason why this is not working out for you. Who are you? Like, they was going crazy.
So they came for your whole life, that's how it goes.
Wayno is like the vice president of Black Twitter, a very cancerous group, by the way, because they're a cancerous group because they move as a monolith. Like, they have these popular opinions that everyone shares, and if you step outside the boundary to say, oh, no, I don't really rock with that. What? Let's get this guy out of here. Yes, you figured it out. You figured it out. That's the first time.
It wasn't them, though. It was like, it wasn't Black Twitter. I tell you who it was.
Okay, Black hip-hop Twitter.
No, it was young white suburban Twitter.
No way.
What?
Yes, they was It was a lot of kids. When I was looking at certain profiles, it was just like a lot of young white kids.
About
like,
the Carter albums?
About the Carter albums.
Really?
A lot. It was a whole lot of them. Then somebody said that I'm not qualified to speak on South music, so I'm speaking about everything.
No one threatened your life or anything?
Nah,
so then you didn't really get it that bad yet. It's coming. Just wait for it.
Sooner or later.
Maybe you can redeem yourself today, but at least you're still good with Black Twitter. Because they care about this, right, Ak?
Nah, trust me. Sooner or later, they're going to get this nigga.
I can still go with wearing all black. It looks like a licorice candy cane.
Black and white, that's my colors, man. Anything with stripes, man.
Why do you think stripes make you look better? That's what
I don't know, man. I'm out here trying to look like a fucking zebra.
Yeah.
Can I rock? Can I rock?
The hip-hop Dalmatian over here.
Okay, I will take that. You feel me?
All right, so the XXL Freshman list is officially out after Akademiks, leaked it a few months back. Now, so the 2018 list includes Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, Ski Mask, The Slump God, JID, Stefflon Don, Block Boy JB, YBN Namir, Wi-Fi's Funeral, and Trippie Redd. Now, of course, people are going to be upset about the snubs, but first, let's talk about the number 10 spot, which does not exist. Usually they feature 10. This time there's only 9 artists because Lil Skies reportedly turned it down. Akademiks, I see you nodding with the shady look in your eyes. Why is there no number 10 spot, my man?
I mean, I feel like I've dug too much into the publication already, but listen, I felt like this is a very shameful process for them. Even the way they put it out yesterday, trust me, it felt like they just kind of like, here's a list. You know what I mean? Just like no-handed fast.
Yeah.
Did someone try to?
Before they would be like, come watch The Breakfast Club. We're going to unveil the list. And after the show, the list will be out.
Why did they do that?
Right.
Good. Okay? Because this was embarrassing. There's usually a 10 spot, no 10 spot this year. You know why? Because there's been so much questions about what this 10 spot entails that I'm glad that they realized, okay, we're hearing the public pressure. We're not going to do it. And also from what we're hearing, they did try to do it because Lil Skies just turned it down. And then they offered to Richard Kidd, who found out that, wait, I'm a replacement? I'm not no bench nigga. Fuck out of here. He did not take it. And, of course, they shoot on one day, so I could imagine them saying, if we don't have another artist to be there on that day, let's shoot the cover without him. As far as the list, it's pretty much everyone who I kind of leaked that was going to be on it. Wi-Fi's Funeral, I didn't mention his name, but he's on it. I'm glad for him as well. I want to say, first and foremost, despite me leaking the list, also anything I have said criticizing the list, it doesn't go towards the artists. All of these artists I fuck with. They are tremendous artists, and in their own rights, they have put in work to deserve them being on this list. Okay?
So what's the problem?
The problem is that it's not the list. You get me? It's not the list that if you were really coming up with a hip-hop freshman list, it would be. And the reason why is 2 Chainz pointed out. There's other people that you would see, like let's name, and we can talk about it.
All right, so let's get into it. So he says, right, Lil Baby, 6ix9ine, T Grizzly, Moneybagg Yo, NBA Youngboy, a couple people he thinks deserve some love on this list.
Right.
So who would you guys replace then? Who are the biggest snubs?
My biggest snub, and this is one of my personal favorites, just because I'm a New York guy, I felt like Jay Critch should have made the list. I really feel like Jay Critch being the next New York guy because I don't know. I'm sure there's nobody from New
Are you
York.
on the panel to help these motherfuckers make the list, bro? Because
No, I'm not. I've never sat on the panel to do any list. But what I'm saying is that there's a few people that I picked because I wanted to revisit the people that I had picked prior, right? Me personally, I felt Lil Baby. I felt 6ix9ine should have made it. Smoke Perp. I wanted Jaden Smith. Jaden Smith's my favorite artist right now. Little Skies. I thought Joyner Lucas should have made it. I did pick YB and Namir, and I picked Jay Critch.
Okay.
Now, the only person I'm really not, I won't sit here in front like I know everybody. I've seen Stefflon Don. I've seen a freestyle from her. I don't know any of her music. And that's not to discredit her by no means.
She's dope. She had that big track with French Montana, but she's more popular in the UK, probably still.
Right. And Wi-Fi's Funeral. I never really got into his music, and the only thing I had seen from him was the thing where he jumped into the crowd and got beat up. Like, you know, that's the only thing I had seen. I never really got into took the time to get into his music. But I felt like Jay Chris should have made it, yo. I was kind of disappointed about that one.
Hey, again, when I was criticizing the list, I said there's a hazy criteria, right? There's no clear, hey, these are the things we consider, and that's the reason why they always do the interview, trying to clarify why certain people made it and why certain people didn't. All the time when I've heard them clarify along the years, they always say, hey, we want to make sure the artist has an album out that has sold and the artist is touring, blah, blah, blah. And then I look on the list, and if we're talking about artists who has had a project out that probably sold pretty decent or whatever, look at the list and I'm like, who? Other than Pump. And again, no disrespect to none of these artists, but most of these artists, Wi-Fi's Funeral, he's just releasing this project this week, right? Block Boy JB, he had that one song, but then they put together a project afterwards. He's still trying to get more tractions. We know the Rover song is moving a little bit, but he's trying to
He had
really,
the record with Drake.
Yeah, I know, I get
That's
it.
why he got on there. Like, let's be for real. Block Boy JB, and I'm not.
Okay, so Lil Baby has a record with Drake,
His drink just came. Like,
and he dropped a project.
wait, look. Now, I'm not because I felt like Lil Baby is one of my favorite picks that I had on there. But Block Boy JB started out the year with his Drake record. So that record was going this whole year. Now, to the whole thing with the sales, that can't be true as well because Meek was on it before his first album dropped. Kendrick was on it before his first album dropped.
Is it sales of big projects like tapes?
Well, no,
like
no,
Pump
I
and
agree with
Trippie
what he
had?
said, but that's what I'm saying. There's inconsistent variables that they play on just to justify whoever they used to make the list.
Although
for
sometimes
example,
it's hard to keep consistent.
even though Lil Baby should be a shoo-in on the list,
Right.
And whatever, you could say most of his ascension to the next level, he dropped a project within the last 2 months. He was on a song with Drake in the last 2 months. Perhaps the list, and it was determined 3-4 months ago, right? And I'm not gonna kill him for not having the foresight, but still, Rich the Kid, a guy who has campaigned to be on the list from 2 years ago, and I get it, 2 years ago was definitely too early. Last year was, she probably should have made it, but this year he got a record with Kendrick.
Yeah.
Got a record with Kendrick, then he's doing a plug walk or run, depending on how you see it, but he should be on it too. Like, so I understand why he would turn down like, I'm not no replacement.
He should have
right?
been in the
I
night.
feel you, but at the same time, I feel like.
And he outsold everybody on the list except Lil Pump, even the guy they were trying to have him replace, those guys.
But that's why I feel like I felt like Rich, it was a point in time where he could have made the list, but I felt like he kind of grew past it. A lot of artists like that don't make it, and then other artists come up, like a Jay Critch, who's his artist. That's why I don't think he needs to be on it because he has his own artist, he has his own entity he's building with Rich forever. Another person that, and I don't think anybody should just throw, I don't think the 10th spot should be looked at as throwing scraps or, oh, come on, because nobody else did it. But since it's not a 10th spot, Don Q. Why couldn't Don, like, you know, that's just another personal pick of mine. I felt like even if Don Q, because a lot of people feel like Don Q hadn't done enough work or hadn't been enough visible, maybe this could have been the springboard or the trampoline to propel him into doing a bit more. Like, sometimes I feel like the list, making the list, can just push you a little bit more with your determination as an artist. Because I've seen a few dudes on the list before that I had never heard of or seen prior to seeing the list. And I've seen everybody that's on this list before.
And let's be clear, there's a running conspiracy out there.
What?
Right?
Your own conspiracy?
Your
or
own
a
act.
This
conspiracy?
is a conspiracy that I was brought to, people told me about because they were really looking into the process or whatever. And even also Bad Baby, Cash Me Outside Girl, she mentioned it. She says, I was told that despite me having one of the top votes for the quote-unquote 10 spot, the fact that XXL has a condom sponsor for the list, that I wouldn't be able to win. Okay? So that's what she tweeted out. Who knows if it's true? I'm just saying that is what's out there. Okay.
That sounds very.
I do think that there is these like check boxes, and I'm not mad at this if this is true, right? But I've seen historically.
Yeah, because I want keep your thought. 1 second. I just want you to have the same energy you had for Summer Jam. Because remember when we talked about in terms of picking and how things go and it being certain people's platforms and what they can and cannot do. And before, and before.
It's the same but different. I'm gonna tell you why it's different.
Okay, so go ahead with your thought. I didn't want to throw you off too much.
Okay, well, I'll just get to Summer Jam. I'll answer Summer Jam thing first, and I'll get to Summer Jam. If I have a venue and I'm protecting this venue, I want to make sure I still have this venue. Forget the sponsors. Summer Jam does have sponsors.
Absolutely.
But that venue is sacred. MetLife and how they're allowed to have a hip hop concert. Listen, first of all, that probably wouldn't be able to go down like how it does at the Garden. Okay?
Yeah, definitely not.
So them having MetLife Stadium, where again, it is a state-run facility. The Giants and Jets play there. This is a place that doesn't tolerate the bullshit. Right. For you to have that and have a historic hip-hop concert for over 20 years there, and you trying to protect that legacy, if you feel like somebody might be coming in with a certain type of energy, I understand, bro, we fuck with you, but we ain't trying to get our shit fucked up.
Okay. Right.
Get that. Okay? Now, it would be different if it's like, oh, Summer Jam presented by Boost Mobile, and they do have sponsors. Let's be clear. And the sponsors say, oh, we don't like these performers, don't have them. That's a little bit different. And then I would say that's like XXL. It's not like XXL is saying to certain artists, we don't want y'all to fuck up. The list isn't like a venue or whatever.
Right.
It isn't, but it's a brand that's represented as well. And they reserve the right of their brand to have that same mindset of protection.
But
I think branding aside.
Or protection from only sponsors.
Yes, all the sponsorships and branding aside, let's talk about actual criteria.
Okay.
Right? Even if they're basing it on very specific criteria, they're not always going to be weighed equally because artists are always going to be in slightly different positions. So let's hear the rest of this.
This is what I also thought XXL and their panel or their writers or editorial staff, they probably think about when they're creating a list. They're probably thinking, you know what? We do have to fulfill these regional, like, we got to get someone from each region. So we get YBN. Where's YBN from?
It's from Alabama.
Okay. From there.
Which is not really like.
You know, I used to think he was from the West.
He had. I ain't gonna lie. YBN. The reason why I love him so much is because his delivery reminds me of Eazy-E. Yeah. The way he like delivers his words and he says it so well. He reminds me. He sounds like he's from the West, but I think like that comes from his. And he could fucking rap. That's what I really like about him. But go ahead, my fault.
Okay, so from Alabama. We'll just say South. But still. Then we have the Florida. Florida is one of the hugest. They're having a huge surge in terms of new music, sounds, or whatever. So you have Pump, Perp, Ski Mask.
They have all three from Florida, right?
Exactly. The first three on the list right here is from Florida. Then you have to have a lyricist or two. You have to have a lyricist. Okay, we get it. Over the last couple of years, it's been the mumble list, quote unquote. But you got to have a lyricist. And if it wasn't Joyner,
then
JID.
Okay.
Right?
Joyner was, I don't know, man. He was such
okay. Or if not Joyner or JID, it should have been Don Q. I agree. And again, if his name was on the list, I would understand it in that type of way. They had to fulfill the lyricist. And I do believe now, and by the way, I'm not saying that's the only reason why JID's on it. I'm saying he does deserve it because, again, you can't all have the same position on a basketball team.
Right, absolutely.
Right? And Steph London, as a lot of people might not be too familiar with her, but I enjoy the shit out of her music. You might be a little bit biased because I like anybody who be sounding a little bit Jamaican. You know what I mean?
She's just dope. Right? She's just
and she lives
I seen a little mini doc on her that's what kind of caught my attention when I seen the freestyle. So like I don't know her music, but I think that she's a better pick than a Bad Baby as far as representation.
Word.
And she had a great record. She had a big record that really crossed over here. And if you are from the UK or overseas, it's really hard to get your record to cross over to you.
So hurting me, I think.
Really, hurting me. It's really hard. So I'm super happy for her, and I mean, it's definitely the time where we got to include a lot of women who are doing great things in hip hop on these lists. So there should be a spot or two definitely designated to consider all women, period, in hip hop. And with that being said, there still could be a conversation about other women who may have felt like they got snubbed, right? Like the Cuban dolls,
Cuban
the
doll,
Asian,
yeah, because she
Asian
was,
dolls,
but see,
Rico Nasty.
Now look,
there's
real
there's
quick,
much more.
with all of this that we're saying, do you understand how hard it is to pick this list?
Exactly. That's why I'm curious what his criteria would be.
Yeah.
Not even considering like I gotta fill a lyricist, I gotta add a woman. What would your actual
Okay.
base criteria be for picking this list?
The base criteria would be work put in. It's all right. Put it like this.
That's so
No,
general.
wait. Okay, so I could come up with a list, right? Like in terms of the hottest artist that's
Right.
young and that's about to either blow up even more or go quote unquote mainstream, or they're just super popular. Sometimes, like for example, in the case of Lil Pump, Pump is already mainstream. Now, from that list, you then evaluate other things, right? So other than the records and the buzz, okay, is this a diverse group of artists? And then you might chip off a couple at the bottom. But what I'm saying is that there's glaring holes when you feel like some of the artists that's missing should be the cream of the crop, like the little babies, the 6ix9ines, the young boys. There's usually another criteria for me is there's a street element you also got to bring in because that's what hip hop is. So when I see YoungBoy now on the list, that's the Kodak 21 spot that I've seen in the past. Why YoungBoy now on the list?
What
It makes me feel a certain type of
It
way.
does.
Something's going on.
But look, see, I can't say something's going on because, like we said before. Now we all know the situation that YoungBoy is facing, right? With what he's alleged with the young lady, and the video that's out. That's what I'm saying is like sometimes, cause then you look, okay, now Trippy, right? Everybody had what they had to say about 6ix9ine, but then the next day we look up and Trippy's arrested for allegedly hitting assaulting a woman, right? So but that wasn't now. If that was in January,
You might have changed the list.
it might have changed. He might have not even got the chance to be on the list. So this is why I'm saying a lot of times we can't just fucking jump out there because Espionage Act, you know what I mean?
So can I ask you a question with that then?
What?
In terms of Trippy? You're right. So again, XXL, whatever their criteria is, their criteria. And of course, if they're saying we don't want to put people who are involved in certain things, cool, get it.
Right.
But do you think that should be really considered? Because if, in all honesty, if we're making this list tomorrow, you don't have Trippy on it because of that. You don't have YoungBoy on it because of whatever he's alleged of and shit we saw.
Nobody else is alleged of anything really, other than him.
You're right, but again, is that even a list at that point? If you can't pick the people that make sense on a music level, is it even a list? It's just like this is basically the choir boy list.
No, Act, don't do that because when I seen this list yesterday,
And why T Grizzly not on this?
all right, I feel like T Grizzly, he could be on it too. But you know what's gonna happen? No matter who makes the list, if T Grizzly's not on it, I mean if T Grizzly's on it and JID's not, then everybody's a uproar for JID.
Right.
If 6ix9ine is on it and Wi-Fi is not, then it's like it's always gonna be something. And when I looked at this overall, even though I'm not really that familiar with Wi-Fi's music or Stefflon Don, it's not a bad list and it's not a choir boy list because these is people. The only person people would really kind of question they say, well, Ski Mask could have made it last year,
Okay.
right?
Hey.
But he still, excuse me, one moment, like he still was in position to be on the list. Now, Lil Baby, I feel like Lil Baby was kind of like a slow burn, and what I mean by that is, as hot as he is right now, he wasn't that hot when I heard about him months ago, right? Now the motherfucker's on fire. Like you can't go anywhere. I mean, in Harlem, they playing this shit. Bronx, even Gunna is on super fire, but Gunna's shit has come within the last like 2 months, I felt.
Right.
If you take anybody off of there, people are gonna complain.
Yeah, that's the point of a list. Again, I understand the point you're making, but again, I think this came up before. I think things are changing. The climate's different. You know what I mean? Like, as you talked about, they do have sponsors. It's not like they're a startup blog, right? So in the midst of the Me Too movement and all of this, you have to understand why they have to make those considerations, right? Just throwing that out there.
Understand the considerations, but again, I'm gonna, and I'll wrap up my thoughts on this whole list with just saying this. I remember 2 years ago, and everyone knows I'm a huge Uzi fan. And Uzi's like management reached out to me and they asked me and they said, do you think doing a XXL list is the move? Because I guess they were offered a spot. And they were considering it because they were considering if they should do it, and the only reason they were considering if, because at that point, who wouldn't want to be on the list? They were hearing that other people turned it down. And my advice to them was this. I said, the list is only the list if when you're on the list, you feel like you're surrounded by your rightful peers. Which means if the other people with you. So when I said that to him, I'm like, it was rumors that Tory didn't want to do the list that year. Bryson turned it down, and there was somebody else. And for me, I was like, if you're not standing among people that you truly feel are your peers and it's just you and a bunch of like whoever else, that's really not the list. You get me? So it doesn't do anything for you. The whole thing about the list is I love to see the peers like, oh, he's in his class. Right. You know what I mean? Like I look at, it's almost a competition, not really for the artists, but for the fans. That's how we look at it. So when I look at the list now, I wonder how it will play out, because do we look at this list and say these people are really truly peers, or we say really their peers got detention or got suspended so they couldn't make the list, so this is what's left. That's all I'll say. And it's the first time I felt this way about the list. And of course, even back then, I'm pretty sure sponsors played a part of it. But, and maybe we should blame the artists as well. Maybe it wasn't that many fucking delinquent artists that most of them could make the list. But we are at the point where we're like, it's tough. It's tough. It looks a little different. And again, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm a little too hard on XXL, but I want him to be more transparent. And until that point, if they were very much more transparent, I would be like, I get it.
Well, you know, because when you brought me back, when you said, Bryson turning it down and Tory turning it down, right? Now, when I just think about certain things, like when certain people turn it down, maybe Bryson shouldn't have turned it down, because honestly, when you compare him and Tory, Tory seems to be having the better careers, putting out better music. After Trap Soul, it's like Bryson kind of faded, right? And the only thing that kind of kept him visible was the Khaled and Rihanna record, and that was last year. Tory is still running around doing everything he's doing. So everybody's not going to want to be a part of this. I feel like it's a good thing for hip-hop, because it puts you in a certain class. When we all look back, we remember Nipsey and J. Cole and Big Sean and J-Rock being on that same list. And when you think of those guys and think of it in terms of what they're doing today, you see how well they've aged in their careers, but then you have misses. Everybody's not going to work out. But what I don't like about it is everybody just tries to shit on the thing, and then if they see it not me, they're gonna be like, yo, that's dope, you made the list. Or they see Block Boy JB, they're gonna be like, yo, that's dope that you made the list, but you shitting on it just cause your homie didn't make it, or they didn't pick your homie. Now, even with Lil Baby not making it, I think Lil Baby, give him another couple more months, he's gonna have his own cover.
Yeah, I think being on the list does not mean you're not going to be great, right?
Yeah,
so even though if you're offended, you always want the recognition, but it doesn't mean
honestly, I've been telling these artists, man, y'all need to announce it before the list come out that you didn't want to be on it. Like, you know what I mean? Because
all of them want to be
that wasn't
on
angle,
it,
though. That was an angle.
All of them want to be on it. Listen, don't be fooled, brother. All of them want to be on the fucking list. It's this
I won't say all, but most.
No, all of them want I know artists that was on the list that was talking about something. I don't want to be on this shit. And then when they there doing it, they like, yo, this is really dope. It's a thing that it's become cool to kind of be like, nah, I'm too big for it.
It's cool to say fuck the establishment.
Yeah,
but sometimes you still want the love. It happens.
Well, I'm just saying from an angling perspective, because if today is a day where your fans are finding out that you didn't make the list, you might want to soften the blow if you kind of know you ain't gonna make it. Yo, Richard Kidd used to do it. He used to be like, he's like, yo, how can I be a freshman when my car costs $100,000?
Well, we're not
then
always,
he showed up to the freshman thing just to turn it down later.
That's
again,
ridiculous.
it's all about angling and how you make it seem.
Let's make a playlist of all the artists that we feel should be on it.
You can make an everyday.
Oh, that's a fact.
Let's make a playlist of the artists that we felt the ones that we felt made it, and some ones that we feel could have been on it.
By the way, my Cloud Tokens plays on Spotify has all those plays. Except Steph London. I'm gonna add 2 of her songs.
She's still saying her name wrong though.
I'm speaking English. You want me to say Steph London? Come on, man. Like, she
Steph
has
London.
Calling her Steph London. You gotta
Yeah,
separate-
because that's reading English. I'm sorry.
You're not English.
All right, all right. Our next story, clearly the most important story of the week. Lil Twist is back with a second diss song for Pusha T called "Another Message to Good Music." Let's listen.
For that nigga Pusha T, I heard about Tony G. I was snitching in these streets, y'all some bitches in these streets, snitching in your family. You niggas all on the stand, you're under your majesty. I get it. I know they said that I'm the one who did it, but he the one who had the gun.
Look, man, he promised he was gonna be back, and so he is. Wayno, can someone do me the honor of reading this tweet he sent to us yesterday?
Oh, man.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Fuck Akademiks. Everyday struggle as a staff, record label, and as a motherfucker crew. And if you down with them niggas, then fuck you too.
I didn't even know we had a record label. Where is it at?
I'm about to start it.
Why haven't
not?
we dropped an album yet?
Yeah, I'm about to start the record label.
I don't want Lil Twist quoting Tupac ever again, man.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, I don't know what he's talking about because we don't have a record label. I'm just wondering, does he have a record label? Because let's be honest, we just reported that Wayne ain't on Cash Money no more.
This is
Is
the
he
rollout
on money?
plan for his album. You must have a label.
Man, salute the Lil Twist for being talked about
What
more
we-
than once.
What we need to do is get Lil
More than
Twist
once.
a goddamn job as the babysitter for Adonis. He could use his talents watching
man,
over a
you
child
listen,
more than
man.
rapping. Come on, let's be honest.
Listen, man.
But Lil Twist, man, drop a diss us, man. Like
No,
diss
I
us.
don't-
Well, I will make sure your song gets a recycle.
Yo, actually, just this little act or little AK.
Yeah, this little act,
No.
man.
Are you about to get into a
I'm
fake
way,
rap beef with Lil
I'm way
Twist?
too hot for Lil Twist in this one. Chill.
So
Chill.
you never heard a Lil Twist song in the club, is what you're saying?
Has he been on? Was he on that Bedrock song?
No, I don't think he was on.
It's
he
like
was in
10
the
years
Bedrock.
ago, even if it doesn't
But
matter.
anyway, man, like, you know what's so funny about this? I mean, it's just like, I
Hey.
didn't see this coming.
No, let's be honest though.
Did he get the memo, though? I thought the
Who's
beef was
hotter?
over.
Wait, cut that, man. Who's hotter in the streets, man? Lil AK or Lil Twist, bro? Let's
Clearly
be
Lil
honest.
Twist.
Man,
Clearly
let's do
Lil
the
Twist.
do the poll today on your IG.
Bro, they might not know who Lil Twist is.
No, do the poll. You got to do the poll.
Yo, Twist, no, actually, like, I forgot how old he is now. He should just drop the Lil. Just call him Twist.
Twist.
You think that's his biggest issue, his name?
I don't know.
Good advice.
Man, Lil Twist, keep striving, young man.
Man, if he ever dropped the bars talking about, listen, everyday struggle need to chill before I really show him what's the deal. Got it, man. Got it.
You know he be with Wayne in them.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yo, shout out to Lil Twist.
Hey, yo, with all this talking we done about him, when Carter 5 comes out, watch this nigga be in an intro.
He's gonna
or
have the
outro or
hottest
some
verse
shit
on the
like
whole
that.
album.
Yeah, still fuck everyday struggling, fuck everybody who love him too. My verse coming up after this. CD ends. You get me?
Stupid.
All right, so while we wait for more heat from Lil Twist, on to Nicki Minaj. We know her new album, Queen, drops August 10th. The rollout plan is in motion. She has a new single out with Lil Wayne called Rich Sex. Let's listen.
It's like, and it ain't my charm. I ain't stupid, this 250 on my arm. I like money more than dick, nigga, that's a fact. You think pussy's everything? Well, let's have a chat. Ash out, pussy fat, point me to a rich nigga. Who gon' Rico ace me paying for my money?
All right, the Nicki Hendrix tour with Future coming up this fall. She's got a new single with Ariana Grande out this Friday. This feels like full rollout mode. What do you guys think of the song?
Yo, it's felt like full rollout mode like 30 times with Nicki like in the last couple.
But she pushed the
Here's
album.
2 more songs
Tour is
and
coming.
videos.
Yeah, come on.
We're coming soon.
She announced the
Man, I
tour.
feel them. Here's 2 more songs.
All right.
Listen, this song's whack.
Okay.
I just got to keep it 100 with y'all. I got a whole theory on Nicki Minaj at this point in her career. Nicki Minaj has went from being the main course, the entree, to now being an appetizer condiment.
Wow.
Every time I hear a Nicki Minaj song, I do not like it.
Wow.
I don't like it.
Do you go in
Disrespect
not
is
wanting to
insane.
like the
I
song, or
want
you go
to
in
like
with an
it.
open
I want
mind?
to like it, but I do. But all I hear is the same. I hear like the same tired little flows or little hooks, and those, I don't know if in 2008 they were very much lit. They were popping, but in
2008?
whenever she was popping with them fucking flows, bro, it's the same shit. When I hear in 2018, I'm like, really, still?
Damn.
Now, the reason why I say she's not like an appetizer condiment,
Damn.
because when I hear her on features, I can't get enough. It's great. It's amazing. But when I hear her on her own songs, I'm like, just stick to the featured verses right now. She might have to drop an album like French Montana. Just have all features. Because there's all of these songs where I hear her and her verses aren't weak. Like, come on, I ain't gonna be up here saying she got weak verses. She do have tired lines at times. Verses aren't weak though. The songs though, they're just
So
not
you think different
hot.
production would change things? Because when she's hopping on other people's beats, she
No, it's
kills
the
it.
same.
What?
It's the same thing that everyone's been saying. Oh, you need to hook back up with Safari. And I'm not saying it's Safari.
What?
I
But
don't
you're
give-
saying her verses are good on features.
No.
So then,
Damn.
how can she translate that into her own songs?
I play this. What was it Down in the DMs or whatever that Gotti song was? Was it that she was featured on?
No, it was just Down in the DM.
Well, she did do a remix of Down in the DMs, but the new
Break
one,
It Up?
Yeah.
Rack It Up. That's Gotti's song. Gotti already laid the hook, the cadence, and everything, all that. Nicki just had to come in and give a
So
hot.
that's what I'm
16.
saying. Does she need better production and she needs to come in and kill the verses, or?
I won't only say the production could change a little bit, but again, it's just a song. Like the songs are not lit. Like when I get to the chorus, I hear the same tired Nicki chorus. And I'm like,
But you called her a condiment, man. You called her an accessory. That's so disrespectful,
No,
G's.
it's-
It is because look, okay. We can all admit that Nicki's not at the height sonically that she was before, right? But to say that she's not like if you're saying that she's a condiment, so she's ketchup, like she's mustard, that's what you put Nicki at in her career.
I'll give her hot sauce.
She's hot sauce at this point in her career. She's hot sauce. And okay, I get that you don't like all the records, but
when have you name me a
Chun-Li is not a dope record.
Chun-Li is her best effort in like 10 tries.
But
One
it
of
might
10.
be the best effort in 10 tries, but to call her an accessory, that's just, come on, act like, we gotta have, wait, Nicki's a legend. Wait a second. Nicki's a legend. She's a legend in this game for not just sales, for not just sales, but for songs and her overall impact.
Not
And you
denying
won't,
that.
wait, not denying that, but this is how we treat our legends just because they don't have the same song they had 10 years ago?
Kind of,
50,
actually.
50 Cent became the same thing after.
Damn, come
It's
on,
true.
yo.
No, I know we don't like to admit it, but after a while, it's like 50, like we hear this a million times, bro.
Hip-hop's
And then you know what happened? When 50 started getting other
Disrespectful.
niggas to do hooks and shit for him, because people do fall into formulas, my nigga. You know this is true.
Absolutely,
Niggas
but I'm
fall
just
into
saying, like, to
formulas.
just put her-
And Nicki's there. Nicki's there. I'm sorry. What I'm saying is her verses are still fire. If she gets a couple Drake hooks or somebody else to really kind of just
Better
get
songs.
full songs,
Better
get full
songs.
songs, and just add in verses.
I'm just saying that we haven't
Get
even
songs.
listen, we haven't even gotten her album yet. Like this is okay.
All right, when do you want
Back in my time, I gotta go there every fucking time. I gotta go to back to my time because I can only base how I engage artists on what I grew up on and how their music was presented to me, right? I don't have to have a fucking hit record. I didn't even know what a hit record was. Like I'm taking the business side out of it. I'm thinking about just genuinely liking and loving music, right? Can we wait for her album before we just fucking throw her to the wolves and say it's over? Because it's basically what you're saying. That it's over.
My nigga, she's giving us like 7 songs. And
But her album comes
we're,
out
like feeling one of them.
Her album comes out in less than a month and a half, I think.
Which, by the way, we didn't address on here, but are we gonna act like that pushback was just random? No. If anything, we were hearing previously that she was about to have it earlier, but then because of her graciousness as a queen and wanted to let Cardi breathe, she fell back a little bit. Then she fell back all the way.
Maybe it's that, and maybe it's the whole shit with Wayne finalizing his shit, and maybe they got some stuff coming. This is all speculation,
Perhaps.
but perhaps, and then maybe because Drake, his shit got derailed crazy, and maybe they're all coming with some 3-headed monster shit in a minute. I'm just saying that at this point, we gotta stop. No, listen. We gotta stop throwing. At one point in time, Nicki was all we had with female representation in hip hop. And because she's not at her hit records or her singles that she's dropping are not reaching what they used to be, we can't just fucking throw it and say,
Wayno,
nah, it's over.
We're not shitting on her legacy.
No, but you're shitting on her right now.
Because I'm telling you the current state of her.
All right, so
That's the
pause for a
fact.
second. Hip hop is just disrespectful. We always disrespect
It's-
our legends. It's not cool.
it's-
but separate of that. So all the songs she's dropped so far, Chun-Li, Barbie Tings, this new one, Rich Sex. If these were on the album, I don't know what I'm missing. So far, are you enjoying this?
I think it's cool. But I think if she's giving it away, I don't even think a lot of this shit is making her album. I don't think a lot. There's no way possible all the singles that she's dropped, with the exception of maybe Chung Lee, because I feel like that might just fit the brand with the whole Queen shit.
Wait, so you believe? That's what I'm getting.
You think that all these records that's coming out is
A couple
going
of
to be
them
on her
felt
album?
official.
I
She did the
think-
SNL performances. I
Yeah.
feel like a few of them won't make the cut.
And you know, because you work with these record labels.
Yeah.
And I know her budget might be some
Her
ridiculous.
brother, she has no budget. She can do what she wants.
But when I saw, and I'll go back like 3 records ago, when I saw that No Regrets song, so you get Wayne and you get not No Regrets. It's
No frauds.
No frauds.
That was last year. Let's throw that shit out the window. That
still.
didn't hit. That didn't hit at all.
Okay, so that was the miss. But if that wasn't intended to be on the album, and you shot, that was one of the most expensive videos I've seen all year.
But motherfucker, they've been doing it. Like artists, let's.
Her rollout isn't like, here's a track. Her rollout for most of these records are, this is it. And I'm coming with visuals, and Nicki's not coming with no low budget shit. No. And again, if I'm a label and I'm allocating the money for you to do this, don't tell me this is for the throwaway. Let's get them excited. We're coming with the real shit later. No, if we're hoping, we're putting a bet on it that this is gonna work, and if it doesn't work, we're then stepping back to reorganize, and we're gonna come again. But it looks like money's behind all these records.
Money's behind everything they do. There's money within everything that we do. All I'm saying is that
I put it like this. You know the difference between rolling out a nice for what and I'm upset. I'm upset. You just throw it out there.
right and see what
You
happens.
see what happens? I am. Okay, get it. Nice for what? This gonna be the one. Let's roll it out with the video and okay, great. You get me? And same with God's Plan too. Like you could tell when the label is saying, rock with these. And for Nicki, I haven't seen her. I know she puts out multiple records at a time, but usually at least one of those records, it feels like they're choosing to say, this is the one. And I'm not gonna lie, they're not hidden. And again, I'm gonna just go back because I don't want you to feel like I was really disrespecting her. But I gave an analogy of what her current state is to me. If you could just name the last time she's had a solo record that you felt like, yo, Nicki's just killing, with the exception of Chun Li, where you felt like, yo, Nicki got one. And again, what happens is, I get it, Nicki's a legend, but sometimes it's not even the artist, it's people. We grow old of shit. Like the same shit that used to rock like 8 years in terms of style, you're not into anymore.
I definitely
like,
agree with you
certain
on that.
sounds we
All
like
I'm
get
saying,
tired
no,
of.
I'm basing my energy off of you saying she's a fucking condiment.
Yeah, maybe
Condiment.
if he hadn't said the condiment appetizer
used
thing,
to
this
be
would have been a
an
little
entree,
bit
bruh.
more
That's crazy.
Lobster steak, you
Jesus
feel me?
Christ.
Filet mignon.
But look,
She's onion rings then?
Right, I ain't said onion rings, but
You said she's an appetizer, man.
Applebee's, you know what I mean?
Applebee's don't call Nicki
Applebee's,
Applebee's.
2 for
Applebee's
$2.
is horrible.
You know what I mean? Boneless wings, bro.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh, man.
Boneless wings is fire. Don't do
Look,
that.
we know that Nicki's still nimble. She still bodies all of those features. So it's not like she doesn't have it in her to do
That's
what
why
you're
every
saying
time
is
I hear a
missing,
wax
right?
Nicki.
So
That's why every
yeah.
time I hear a wax single from her, I'm like, Nicki, just do a remix, baby. Just do a remix. Like,
So
like,
in
create
terms of all of this, right? Because we had predictions for album sales and all of that before, right? What do you think she'll still do? Even with all of this that you just said.
Yeah, I don't think none of this changes it. Like, Nicki has such a great fan base. She's still gonna do 200 something. My thing is that if we're making this as a Queen album, if she puts on if she musically just wows everyone, I could see Nicki doing 350. But without that, Nicki could put out just either subpar or average or even trash material, and her fan base, as they should, because she's a legend and she should be afforded that, they'll still make sure she does well. And she'll still do 200.
Yeah, I see her still doing something. I'm just saying that, like, with all the albums that we've gotten this year, a lot of them we haven't heard until we actually got it. Like, the way streaming and all that shit works, people's records don't leak the way they used to. Right. Remember, like, shit used to leak. We used to have it the Friday prior. Now we got to wait till that day. I'm just saying, yo, can we wait till that day before we start fucking throwing all these crazy-ass analogies of what she is in her career out?
But we could admit that it don't look like, if I'm on the Nicki Minaj cruise ship, it don't look like we going into a very sunny, calm waters. Shit look like a storm up there, a couple icebergs, ship finna be rocking. This don't look too good. This rollout.
But you think that's a product is also of what Young Money's going through as a whole? Because the brightest spot in all of Young Money right now is Lil Wayne and everything he's just finished and fixed and all that. So that's why I'm saying, do you think that it might be a reconfiguration? A reconfiguration of Wayne's trajectory of where he's gonna go? Because you know, one announcement of, guess what? I just did a joint venture with Young Money and Rock Nation and all these other people. That changes the perception of how we view a lot of the music as well.
Honestly, I do believe that I believe Nicki and Drake, like, whatever they do for their music and their career and their rollouts are independent of YMCMB. Like, I don't think they've really been in accordance as a label. Of course, they're friends, but in terms of, okay, this is how the label is moving, I mean, I believe they're distributed and most of their shit is going through Republic. And it's like, yo, whenever Drake is Drake. We don't give a fuck about what they're doing. Like, it's just Drake. We treat Drake as Drake. We treat Nicki as Nicki. Wayne has just been the one kind of in flux just because you're on Cash Money.
Yeah.
And they control the most of it.
But look, it does seem like they would all be stronger together this summer, right? After what Drake just went through, Nicki expectations for this album.
Bro.
Could you cut it out? Jesus Christ.
He's hungry.
I love all of these joints. I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm just saying, we just can't have a full course of it, bro.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get through some quick hits so Akademiks has nothing else wild to say. First up, Lil Pump saying Gucci's autobiography is the first book he's ever gonna read.
God, I ain't never read a book in my life. I don't know how to read, but I might read the Gucci Mane book today, but yeah. I'm just like sad.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
He's reading that?
I started reading the book.
Do you read
Actually, I asked Nadeska, you're so bad, yo. I asked Nadeska for Gucci Mane's book because she had two of them, the hardcover and like the soft cover joint.
Didn't I give you one of them?
No, you did not.
I still only have the hardcover, so I must have given you one.
No, you gave it to Joe, to be honest.
Okay.
But still,
you can have it, Ak.
I did want to read.
You don't read, though. When do you read?
when do you
when
read,
do you
Ak?
read, Ak?
When do y'all read? I
was in Barnes and Nobles last night. I was in Barnes
I'm
and
not
Nobles
drunk.
last
That's
night.
a fact. I was just clowning him.
Right.
You're drunk. You're drunk on Twitch all night. When would you be reading?
Right.
Drunk reading is not fun.
I'm never drunk. You know what I mean? I am.
Off the shits.
No, I'm just y'all recreationally like sip, relax. Anyway, I do listen. My reading time, and since y'all want to know, get
You
up
don't
my
have
business.
any reading time. Cut it the fuck out.
Since y'all want to know, when I'm in the bathroom, I do a lot of things. That's like my business.
Conservative act.
Yeah, no, real talk.
What are you currently reading in the bathroom?
Actually, I'm reading
Ain't
some,
shit.
No, I'm reading some like tax stuff and accounting stuff.
What?
Accountant act.
I'm
There's
all
so
about
many
business.
shades to act.
No, I'm all about
50
business.
shades of
okay?
act. That's it.
Like, listen,
Writing a book.
Let me get through reading about some, you know what I mean, some tax codes and some very
Yo, tax
strategic
season
way how
already
to.
passed.
No,
Why
no. Well,
Get playing for 2019 already?
well, when you have a business, Nadeska, you
All right,
get extended to
Academics.
October to make
Okay.
sure you get your shit right. He would know. But anyway, listen, once I get done with making sure my money is handled the right way, I'll get on to read about Gucci.
So
Mane's
what you're
ghetto
saying
biography.
is you haven't read a book in like a decade.
Right.
You're just reading about your taxes right now. That doesn't count.
That's a book. Did you say a book? Wait, am I not understanding the words coming out of your mouth?
Who reads books about taxes? Don't
Right.
you just go to the internet and find good articles?
No.
You're
That's
lying.
lying,
You're
yeah.
such a
No,
liar.
I can't
He's a
trust
liar.
You could have just lied and made up a book. I would have
Right.
believed you probably.
Straight,
a
man.
book.
Sure.
What is wrong with you? I'm telling you exactly what I'm reading.
Well, what was we even
Wait.
talking about with this shit? What am I reading? Well, I'll tell you what I bought last night to read. I bought a philosophy book by Bruce Lee.
That's a book.
That's a book.
Yo, I'm tired of Wayno, man.
I bought a
Hey,
philosophy
listen.
Oh wait, another book that I'm reading that I actually purchased this book years ago, and I went to get it last night, but they was out of it. It's called How to Practice a Way of a Meaningful Life as told by the Dalai Lama.
Deep.
It's another
Man,
very
I'm
good
done, bro.
book.
Hey, yo, man,
Shit.
this is some shit. Oh, y'all book club having ass niggas.
I'm on some 007
I get
shit.
it. I get it. It make y'all look hella cool on social media. Y'all drop the books y'all reading and
who gives a fuck
Instagram
about
it.
it? It's good for
I
your brain.
guarantee,
Reading
I
is
guarantee Wayno
fundamental.
Instagram the book or
I did not Instagram the
Nah, yo.
because we was talking about it
Just talking
yesterday.
about it.
That's
I mean, we was
the
talking about
way
it this
how
morning.
dudes even bag chicks online. Man, I seen these.
Oh,
these
man.
By
Yo,
saying you went to Barnes and Noble?
yes,
I
my
was
non-reading
clowning him.
friends flex like they read.
You
that
are
chicks
one
can
of
think
your
they're
non-reading friends. What are you talking
intellectual.
about?
Telling you, man, it's the same thing with photographers.
I
Photographers
educate.
and
Wait,
fake
wait a
readers,
second.
they're the same.
I read because I like to educate myself, and I've always been very adamant about the fact that I
The
didn't
only
go to
reading
college.
that he does is to his son bedtime stories. Come on, cut it.
My son is 11 years old. I'm reading no goddamn
Yo,
bedtime
Ak
stories.
has
You
not
kidding me?
read a
Being a good
book
father.
since
Oh, I'm a
Rutgers.
bad father now.
I said that's being a good father, reading them some bedtime stories.
No, man, get out of here.
Your son can't be too old for bedtime stories.
When you get,
talking
was
about?
your uncle reading you bedtime stories when you was 11 years old?
That's why he's all fucked up as an adult
Right.
now.
I wish.
Right.
Do we have anything else here? Lil Wayne is replacing Cardi B at Panorama coming up soon, which makes us feel like he's about to be out here and new music's coming, right?
Wayne's back in these streets.
Well, Wayne been performing. I think that when Wayne just snaps on one of these new songs remixes, he just takes the beat and just goes off. That's when he'll be officially back to me. But I'm glad that he is performing at a lot of these larger venues because I think he's a phenomenal performer. And I remember seeing him last year and I said, damn, this motherfucker just got too many songs.
You went to a concert last year besides the weekend concert?
Well, yeah, he was streaming this shit.
He went to
So
one
I'm
concert
actually there, right?
last year. He talked about it for
Take a break
months.
over here, man. I
What
take a
Wayne show
break.
did you go to?
Yeah, go to some concerts.
No, actually, it was like a Drake show that he came out at.
Look, Ak,
you
we're
know
gonna-
me, I'm at Drake.
We're going to go see
Hey.
Aubrey and the Three Amigos. We're going to read some books this year. It's going to be great.
Yes, Ak.
Does Migos like us?
I don't know. I think we're cool, right?
I've met two of the Migos. I met Offset and I met Quavo. And
How
they're
many
both very
security do I need
cool.
to bring for me?
You need security everywhere. You got me, B. I got you, B. Had a Harlem Goons with you.
Harlem Goons are Treyways. I gotta decide.
Just stay home.
I gotta decide.
Just stay
man.
home. I think we have one more. Oh yeah, Sci-Hi. So we know Good Music's been dropping the 7-track albums. Sci-Hi says Kanye told him to put aside 7 songs for his own. This actually makes me excited. I really like Sci-Hi's album last year. Unexpected. I thought it was really dope. And of course, Kanye shared the Nas track list. So more coming. Would you guys be excited for a Sci-Hi project?
Yeah, again, I'm glad everyone on Good Music is getting the same treatment. But hearing this, I'm guessing that's not coming soon though.
Not before Nas.
Well, Sci-Hi, no.
He heard it. This guy.
No, I haven't heard it. What I was about to say is that, like, I'm not going to sit here in front and act like I've been a big Sci-Hi fan. I'm not really a big fan of his music like that. Because his lyrical ability is really, really dope. He says dope shit, but I really don't get into his voice. I really don't like his voice. I'm not going to sit here
That's
in front.
funny. That's my favorite thing probably.
I don't like his voice. But he can rap, but it's like, and this is just me, okay, my opinion is not gold. It's not the standard for everybody.
Don't worry, Wayno. They're still killing you about the Carter and
yeah,
the
and
Cuddy.
all that.
Don't even
It's
worry
cool.
about it.
Well, listen. I mean, I'm waiting for his shit. That I could see if he has. I know he's gonna have hella bars. I just want to see if he's outbarred my expectations.
Well,
or maybe he delivers the most lyrical album out of everybody who's dropping.
don't let this,
Even though pushing.
don't let all of this distract you that the TDE Titan, J-Rock, is coming.
Friday.
That's
It's
what I'm
out.
excited for. Yes.
That's your homework for this weekend. Excited
Ak
for
is
this
not
project.
listening to that album.
Nah, he
I
will.
might stream it on Twitch, man.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Before I bring a couple thoughts on it, I might stream it on Twitch. Real talk, I might.
Do you screen your thoughts?
Screen.
Yeah, do you screen your thoughts? Like, do you background check them?
I have interns that do that. No, we just have fun. You know what I mean?
Can I finally come on Twitch? I'll bring a book.
We could.
They
Definitely
would get me the fuck out
No,
of
we can
there.
have a-
Yo, they would be so tight if I came
Yeah,
on
let me
with a
get on
book.
Twitch, yo. I
Let's
wanna
do
get
it.
on Twitch with Ak.
I've always been scared to pull up. Let's go together.
Yeah, let's do the Twitch.
Hold up, like, this is Brooklyn or something.
The slums of Brooklyn. All right, guys. So tomorrow is Thursday. So we're gonna do struggle exchange. We do want you to submit videos. You don't always have to send tweets. Hit us in our DMs on Instagram. Also send it on Twitter, and hopefully we feature some of you tomorrow. That's our show.
Hey, Lil Twist, man. One more word out of you, man. I might drop a diss track on you. Okay.
Listen, I'm gonna get the beat for it. Let me
Oh,
know.
man.
You need some production, I got you.
Twist is wilding out.
Twist is wildin'.
Yeah.
We might see Twist and it's a whole nother story when we see it. We gonna run down.
Fuck
Yeah,
y'all,
nah,
it's a
Twist- I heard
record
Twist is
label.
goon, though.
Twist is going.
I hear Twist is the goon. That's what I'm saying. You got to remove the Lil from his name.